Welcome back to F1 1997, where I've been unable to get some of the tracks to work, so we will be doing a custom season, our own making, where we track our own points, and then you, the jury, decide which team I move to at the end of the season. We're going to start with one of the four base teams. That's Danka Arrows Yamaha, HSBC Malaysia Stuart Ford, Tyrrell Ford, and Minardi. I know I said I was going to go for arrows, and arrows are my favourite. It's obvious, but we're going to go with Minardi. And we'll be playing this season as one Jarno Trulli. We'll be doing a short weekend with full qualifying, and the race distance will be 25%. Damage is on, safety car is on, all that good stuff. And Australia doesn't work, so we're going to try Brazil and hope that works. Now, something to remember, I suppose, is that for at least round 1, maybe round 2 as well, I'll still have the corner indicators on because I'm still getting used to how this works, but then we'll get rid of them as soon as we can because I know they're annoying and amateurish and it's shameful. What we'll do is keep the season relatively short, and I'll split qualifying and race just so I'm not adding so much extra to my recording schedule. Also, Simon, if you're checking this out, because I know I sent you the Tyrrell video yesterday, and hopefully this resolves the audio issue so you can actually hear what I'm saying, I think we need to find a way to get a special done on this, mate. I think most people would agree. Although for the life of us, neither of us can organise ourselves well enough to actually record anything. It seems to me that this track isn't working, so looks like we're not doing Brazil. Oh no, there we go. There's an endless loading bug, and that's what's been causing the problem. Okay, we're just going to default setup it again because it is the lazy thing to do, and we're all about the lazy. We've got 17 minutes or so left in the qualifying session. I'm going to set the car up for maximum over 9,000 speed because we are running with a power deficit, of course, and we'll just have to hope it doesn't rain, which inevitably it will. Now, the great thing about Minardi was always they were such consummate professional performers, you know, I mean, yeah, they suffered very, very badly from a lack of funding, but they always designed very well designed cars for the budget they had, and they got screwed over more than once. I recall late 80s or early 90s, they were actually in negotiations for Honda Power, and they actually had Honda engineers on site, and then Honda pulled the deal out from under them. Likewise, they had a very unfavourable Ferrari deal for a while, where Ferrari unashamedly screwed them, just like I unashamedly ruined how I took that corner. So they're a team that people have consistently taken advantage of, and it's very easy for people to sort of look at their track record with a sort of sneering derision and write them off as an archaic relic, and a failed archaic relic at that. But you've got to remember that Giancarlo Minardi kept the team in Formula 1 for a good 20 years or more, and then, you know, Paul Stardart dragged it out a little bit longer until it became the team we know today, which is, of course, Toro Rosso. And let's not forget either that Toro Rosso are actually still located in the original Minardi factory. They're a team with little to no debt. I think actually they represent one of the healthiest teams on the grid right now, and it's just a shame it took the Red Bull megabucks to bring the team the kind of competitiveness that I felt they always deserved. So we're going to try and do them justice in our short season. Undecided how many rounds will be in a season just yet, but we will figure that out as we go. I am still absolutely loving this mod. I love the attention to detail. You know, it'd be very easy just to reskin the car models as they came with F1 2014, and that's not what's happened here. Now, this particular Minardi was on Ford power. I think in '98 they switched to Heart power, which was a bad move, all things considered. Heart are another outfit that get a very bad rep by F1 fans, I suppose. Not entirely deservedly so, actually. I think Brian Hart was capable of some great strides in engine tuning. It's just, again, it's a David Goliath kind of situation where he just never had the resources behind him to make the most of, wow, we are 2 seconds off the arrows and this car is horrible. Forget everything I just said about them making a nice car on a cheap budget. This car is awful. And I'm awful as well, which doesn't really help things. Oh, it helps if I put it onto Rich Mix, doesn't it? Gotta be careful about locking my brakes. I keep locking my brakes. And I keep spinning my power away as well. Same as in the Tyrrell episode. Now, I don't remember if this was a Tredozzi car or a Gustav Brunner car. I think it's a bit before Brunner's time, but I could be wrong. However, it wasn't one of those seasons where Minardi... oh, I span it there. Completely broke traction. That's that ruined. I'm going to come in, actually, I think. Yeah, it's all going wrong. Although I'm still 8/10 up on my first lap. That's incredible. Let's just ease off and make sure I don't miss the pit entry as I want to do. Let's see if we can't... Oh no, I was going to see if we could take a look at the car, but we can't. It's one of the stewards comes in there. There does seem to be a bug where our pit and pit crew show correctly, but the others are very intermittent. I don't know if that's because I've installed the mod wrong or something. It's entirely possible. That could also be why Australia doesn't work. But we will put fresh tyres on. And we'll drive out again straight away. Not a great deal of time remaining. And my goal, I suppose, has to be to out-qualify the Tyrrells, which was not something that happened all that often, actually, in this particular season. I think it was basically Trulli was an excellent find for Minardi. I think there can be no doubting that that was the case. But as I recall, Prost poached him quite early on, and then Kachiyama just was off the boil in a way that he hadn't been previously. Not that he was ever a stellar driver, to be frank, but he went completely off. And who knows, that could be an issue synergizing with the car, it could have been something inside the team, but the great thing about Giancarlo Minardi was he was always an excellent judge of driver ability. He was a great developer of drivers, and he would, for a long time, resist taking pay drivers in order to nurture talent. He was someone who would pay drivers rather than expect to be paid, and that's something that's missing from the grid these days. You know, you only have to look at people like Carmen Jorda to see that the ways to get into F1 are not necessarily linked to your results or your outright pace. It's down to your marketability or down to your sponsors. Pastor Maldonado, another good example. Put 2 wheels on the grass there and almost lost it. I do like that they've brought in 90s F1 handling. The car doesn't feel quite as planted as it did in vanilla F1 2014, but you never know if that's your imagination or not. We're currently outside the drop zone, although it's a very close run thing, and Sarlo is ahead of us in the Tyrrell, and we've just dropped into the drop zone now. If we don't improve pretty significantly, because I see a Schumacher is yet to lay down a time, we are going to be out skis. I've run very wide in that corner. I don't know if it's how the car's set up, and the fact that I haven't manually dealt with the setup, or it could be, again, the problem that I'm running with a pad when this is optimised for wheels, but the car is not doing what I'm asking it to do. I'm having to soar at the wheel a bit. I'm getting a bit better at being gentle with the throttle. You've got a lot of power very easily at your command, which hasn't quite been the case with the recent F1 games, actually. Okay, so... oh, Christ. Did I even turn my fuel mix up there? I did. Okay, I'm gonna have to come in again. I should have put more fuel on board, because we're back in the drop zone and there's not a lot of time left. We have out-qualified one of the Stewarts, however, so far. Magnussen had a terrible 97 and a terrible 98, actually. I'm kind of glad that the same thing didn't really happen to Kevin Magnussen, although he was dropped unceremoniously by McLaren, which I felt was way out of line. Congratulations to him, by the way, on the Renault drive. And I have to say, actually, if you haven't seen the Renault Sport F1 launch images, that car looks very, very striking. There's something about the black and yellow in the ratio they've used it that just looks fantastic. And I've got a feeling that Red Bull are going to come to rue the day they upset Renault, to be honest. I could see Renault being a force to be reckoned with, maybe not straight away, but give it 2-3 seasons. And I think it goes without saying they want Romain Grosjean back at some point, which to me is a natural partnership. In fact, Grosjean and Verne would be ideal in my book. Not that I want to see K-Mags or Joyland Palmer disappear forever. Okay, so we're sat in 18th between the Stewarts, which is Minardi standards pretty good, but I feel if I can focus a bit better, there is more to be had. Not the best looking Minardi, but still pretty good. I think they obviously wanted to go for a white, yellow and black 80s Renault style, and then that mild 7 sponsorship, which they badly needed, completely ruined what would otherwise be a reasonably good looking car. I'm going to go out again on the scrubs. Let's see what the gap is. 1/10 to Barrichello, 2/10 exactly to Verstappen. So we've got, yeah, we're aiming to make it into Q2 at least. Schumacher's currently on pole on the 1:18. 7 minutes remain. That who went out in front of us. I'm going to leave it on green for now. That was a Williams. I think once I stop running wide and stop braking like it's the old style physics, I'll be happier to just get rid of these corner graphics. The car is very understeery, which I felt with the arrows as well, and was there with the Tyrrell, but maybe not quite so pronounced. I think it's fair to say the Minardi is the worst car I've driven thus far. It kind of pendulums actually from understeer to oversteer. I think sort of low speed it's prone to oversteer a little bit. As we saw before, I think it was on my first quali run where you probably didn't see it, and it might not show very well on the video, but you know how you can feel it when the controller gives you the feedback? The rear broke grip completely and we rotated about 15 degrees on the spot, and if I hadn't have come off the throttle when I did, we would have completely lost it. It was a terrible way to take that corner, but whatever. I'm still not getting great temperature into our front tyres. I'm trying to remember that Jackie Stewart training, you know, that he always would say on TV, don't get on the power again until you're sure you don't have to come off. I mean, the temptation is always to just put the boot down as soon as you finish the braking, but it's actually slower to accelerate through a corner than it is to just glide through it. That Sauber better get out of my way. And you see there, I was too aggressive on the throttle and he's pulled away from me. Oh, I'd have lost a bit of wing there. I'd be surprised if I haven't. No, I haven't. Well, I would apologise to you, Johnny, but I'm just not sorry. That's an improvement, but not enough of an improvement, so we need to take this corner better because we lost a lot of time here last time. It's a lot difficult to drive a clean lap when I'm talking, but, you know, that's kind of what I'm here for. See, I'm off the power a lot through that corner, and that's because I'm drifting out wide even though I'm not. Out of my way, you Canadian bastard. It's amazing how much time you lose in traffic like that. Because you take the wrong line into the corner like I just did there to get around Barrichello. They seem very unaware of you. I mean, they're obviously both on in-laps, so they would be penalised for impeding, would be my assumption. I don't know if we've gained enough time thanks to those two fucks. I just kept the boot down there and ran wide, I don't care. No, wasn't enough. I don't think we've got enough fuel for this. No, we don't. That menu also, I should have messed with my brake bias a little bit maybe as well. Well, we will start in Brazil in 17th position. I'll drive us back to the pits and then we'll finish the session and see where everyone came out. Come on, I'm not even trying now. Come on, I ran so wide there. Okay, it seems Deniz in that fantastic looking arrows that I love so much was on a quali lap, or at least an attempt, because he's actually trying, but those two clowns just fucking clowning around. I'm driving so sloppily. Simon's going to be getting a good giggle out of this. I bet you thought for a brief second there I was going to smash into that dividing wall. Well, sorry to disappoint you. I've made that mistake before. Main thing is we outqualified our teammates, and I think we've outqualified both Tyrrells. I don't know if we've outqualified Deniz. Let's see what's what here. No, we're behind Deniz fractionally. 2/10s-ish. But we've outqualified both Stewarts, both Tyrrells, and our teammates, so that's pretty good. And our theoretical best is a 1:17.376, which would be enough for pole, apparently. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Thank you very, very, very much for joining me. I will see you next time for race coverage. Take it easy.